February is National Black History Month, and we thought it'd be a good time for you to meet a remarkable lady who teaches history through tourism. Dr. Tommy Morton-Young teaches history through her Black History tours of the city, and recently LaTonya Turner joined her for one of these unique looks into Nashville's past.
This is Albion Street. I grew up on this street. The expressway goes right through my mother's lily pond. Nashville was a cultural city as I saw it growing up. There were the colleges and the theater. I just almost fell in love with the grand dames of the theater. And they inspired me greatly. As I sat and looked at the film, I said, one day I'll be as powerful as Betty Davis or Joan Crawford.
Davis and Crawford portrayed strong characters on the silver screen, but in real life, neither of them could hold a candle to a determined young girl growing up in the segregated South. Tommy Morton realized early that education was the key to success. She set her eyes on that prize and never looked back.
I went to Pearl High School, then I went away to college. And that's sort of a joke because I just crossed Hadley Park and went to Tennessee State. And I graduated to Tennessee State. I was the first African-American to graduate from George Peabody College.
Dr. Tommy Morton-Young, as she would later become, is credited with a number of firsts, holding several high-level positions in government and education, as well as organizing African-American genealogical and historical societies in North Carolina and Tennessee.
This is Fort Nashville. The Genealogy Society, of course, is always looking for ways to motivate the public and keep people interested. James Robinson is credited with founding Nashville, but he was accompanied by a free black family, and they too would be founders, but their names are not listed. So we would include short sightseeing trips. On this very corner was the first black bank in America, and people began to ask me, could you do a tour for us? And so I said, maybe that's an opportunity to expand the Nashville story. We are approaching the oldest black neighborhood in Nashville. And so I had the good fortune to establish the authentic tours of historic black Nashville and beyond. Nashville was known as the best city in the South for African Americans. These are the kind of little caveats that may seem insignificant, but they are critical in appreciating and understanding one's race and one's culture, and in helping young people as they grow up in forming their sense of self-worth and their self-identity. We are in City Cemetery.
As the tour weaves throughout Nashville, Dr. Young revisits the lives of African Americans woven into the tapestry of the city's history.
When freedom came, they decided there was a need for four-year college, and of course many of the Reconstruction colleges sprang up at that time. Tennessee Central was one of them, Fisk was one of them. Ella Shepherd became the lead singer for the Fisk Jubilee Singers that went all over the world, singing the black spirituals and raising money to build Jubilee Hall. And this is her burial place. She lived to 1914, born in 1851, but she was born in bondage. You will see an unfolding of courage and tenacity of a people who under oppression, and this is what I focus on, not woe is me, but gee, I made it anyhow. Still I rise. That's what our tours point out. The songs did serve many purposes. Many of them were codes down by the riverside. Lay down my burden down by the river, that says, there's an underground railroad route coming. The legend has it that if an African African-American in bondage could just make it down that river running away and make it to this area, the person would be received and taken up to the Capitol, and there they would be under the protection of the federal government. We will take a right here. These songs also were a catharsis for people to empty their souls out of their misery, also to articulate their faith. So there's much to be said about those spirituals, and it breaks my heart when I see that they are not being preserved and perpetuated as meaningfully as I feel that they should be. There are remarkable stories surrounding Fort Daly with 13,000 black soldiers having helped build and to defend that. President Lincoln cited those soldiers as having turned the tide of the Civil War. There's an old African saying that until the lion tells his story of the hunt, it will always favor the hunter. So until the African American or any ethnic group tells his or her story, it is going to be told through the eyes of the historiographer. I'm the lion that's trying to tell the stories.
Considering her passion for the past, this history-making historian is one lion that will roar for years to come.